For me, I think you've made a good argument for Reece Stanley, and I appreciate it.
But you're right.
Yes.
I'm accepting that Tom Hawkins doesn't make this team a barefoot operator around the house.
He would be a
it's good
barefoot
to know.
operator.
I think just around the house.
We are back. You already know the concept. It's a combined best 22. We've got Marcus over here. On Carlton's side, we've got Scott for the Cats. It's going to be big. The last one was very controversial. It was big. It was a lot of debates going on, and I think it's going to be even more so this time round. Scott, how you feeling walking into this?
Feel good. I feel like we might have a best 22 of just Geelong players, which I think I could make the argument to get that over the line. No, I feel good. I feel like I've got a couple of weird things that I might throw at you, so I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Well then, Marcus.
I was saying before off camera that forward line's going to be very hard to pick.
It's going to be
because
stacked.
Four big forwards, arguably the four best in the competition, all vying for spots in there. So it's going to be hard.
I'm not looking forward to my job as mediator because it is well known that there might be a bit of an anti-Carlton bias on my end, so I've got to try and be as fair as possible. So it's going to be interesting, but we'll get into it. Who wants to go first? Marcus, I know you took the lead for the Richmond-Carlton one last time. Scott?
So Scott, you can
I know you had a big one. You had a big one.
You won the flag.
So I'm going to do something weird, all right? Like, I don't think anybody would do this as your first pick because there's so many players on this board that you would take straight away. But I think there's somebody integral to the Geelong lineup that potentially won us a grand final last year and definitely got us in. And that is my man, Mark Blixaz, was straight in there, and he's playing as a midfielder.
Interesting.
He's playing as a midfielder.
That does throw a spanner.
That does. It'll confuse you because obviously the Blues have such good midfielders, but this man's ability he's just awkward. He's awkward to face. He's good at lockdown. He can run all day. They can, if used correctly, confuse the shit out of the opposition ruckman. So he's a weird pick, and I think people shudder at him, but he was very good for Geelong last year.
I do remember when we played you guys, he absolutely smashed us, powered us up, and I think he played on Crips and dominated.
He's just awkward to face.
Yeah.
He's awkward to face. You can chuck him anywhere. He's good backup ruck option if you need. So
I don't have any arguments with the Blitz being in the team.
Yeah.
It's just in that midfield that's going to be so hard to pick.
Go.
I did want to make it tough. I did want to make it tough.
But it's hard to argue when it's the first player picked.
Well,
so let's leave him there for now.
I like it. I actually do. I'm not being biased. I really do like his pick because, like you said, it's one of those really awkward matchups, but he's so versatile as well. And I think that there's obviously some great midfielders in this side, but he's very different, whereas you could argue that some of the other midfielders are very like and like.
Yeah.
Whereas Blixaz is very, very different. So I don't mind this, but I am happy for both of us or all of us to come back and revisit
I just wanted to make your job tough. I'll be honest with you because we still got
You've done that. You've done that already.
Dangerfield, Walsh. There's so many players in this team.
He could easily go onto a wing as well.
It's true.
Or fullback. There's a lot of spots
Where you want him, he'll go.
So anyway, this annoyed the shit out of me in the Richmond one. So I'm going to start.
What's he going on?
It's going to be super competitive down there. So Charlie is going in the square. I'm putting Charlie at full forward.
No need for explanation as to why.
Coleman medalist.
Got him there.
Best forward in the competition last year. I understand it's going to be, the four big forwards that we're talking about. All of them have an argument to play there, but I think as the Coleman medalist, number one forward last year, I think he deserves to be there.
Scott?
I like it. We'll keep things balanced. There's obviously a lot of players I'd like to pick, but I think straight off the bat, I want to get into defence now. I feel like I want to make sure we keep it spread. So I'm thinking for me, an absolute must-have is Tommy Stewart. I mean, we'll just chuck him there for now. I don't know if that's where we want to put him at the end, but obviously in the Geelong system, there's no real such thing as like a forward pocket. I mean, a back pocket and a half back flank. It's mix them around on matchups. So I'll stick Tommy Stewart there. Like he is an absolute lockdown defender. He intercepts. He does everything you want, So, and he's a leader. And his story is incredible. Like he came from nowhere, picked up from Barwon Heads, and now all of a sudden he was that close to being the captain of Geelong. So I think Tommy Stewart, back pocket, stick him in there, have no worries.
Yeah.
Any arguments?
There's no arguments for me. Thomas Stewart is probably the best back pocket in the competition. So, and I think that's where we're probably lacking a little bit in terms of high-end quality. So I think Tom Stewart is a lock there for mine.
I'm a
as
big
well.
fan.
Like
Big fan of Tom
yeah.
Stewart.
That's good.
Marcus.
Yep. While we're in defence,
Yeah.
let's put Mr. Jacob Wiedering
Wiedering.
back. For me, I think he's in the top 2 or top 3 defenders in the competition. Should be an All-Australian by now. Was on track for it last year, but the injury got him in, I think, round 11. So, but yeah, I think Wiedering for mine is one of the best in it. And I think by the end of this season will be the All-Australian fullback.
Scott.
I like it. Look, I'm going to let a stew in me. But no, I feel it's hard. It honestly is hard to knock Wiedering. I'm a massive Wiedering fan. Like, I think he's so level-headed. He's strong. Like, I'm just in love with Sam DeConning. But, like, I just feel like it's hard. One season of Sam DeConning in a really good team. Like, he played very good. And I actually really think there's this weird thing where the AFL is going to get, like, taller. Like Geelong are going to end up playing Radicalier and Sam DeConning, who are basically ruckman height in defence. And I think it's just going to be, like, something really weird that happens. But, no, I agree. I would, like, me personally, being biased, would love to see Sam DeConning there. But I don't think I've got anything to argue against getting Wiedering out of there to put in Sam DeConning. He's only played 1 year, so except for height. So, no, I'm happy with that. I think that's strong. Stewart, Wiedering.
Oh,
It's a good start.
duo,
I mean, that's
already
really
a
hard
dangerous
defense.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll go for it. We're going to go real obvious ones here, and I think you have to go Jeremy Cameron. All right, Jezza, centre half forward. I mean, I don't feel like I need to argue it. This man is incredible. Not in the sense that he can kick your bag of goals. Like, he can do that. We know that. But when Geelong were down last year in certain games, he got us back into the game because he actually just rolled through the midfield. And it was underrated, or maybe it isn't underrated. He's like foot skills. He actually can, some of the kicks he pulled off from going in the midfield. And the Collingwood game in the qualifying final was a great example. He has this ability because he's so long that he can just like wrap his leg like around a football where there's not an angle. Like, you would have seen him when he kicked that goal against you guys against Carlton. And then in the qualifying final, he just was able to get the ball to Gary Rowan in that last play just because he was so long. And he pinpoint Geelong win. Hard to argue. He's going to kick your bag of goals. Potentially one of the best players in the competition. So,
Yeah.
I've got nothing.
I'm not even going to... I'll save my energy for later ones, I reckon. Yeah, that's easy.
Good.
Well, I think I have to get the captain in there nice and early.
nice.
Big P Cripps
Yeah.
in the midfield.
Yeah, we love that.
Starts in there. Brownlow medalist. I mean, I don't really need to sell it to you, do I?
No, Cripps sells himself,
Yeah.
I think. So I'm
Be a
happy
real
with him
dick
there.
if I argued that. That's just like disrespectful. Nah. Yeah, Criffin, man.
He wants to a little bit, don't you?
I just look at the quality on there, but nah, there's no way. He's a Brownlow medalist.
Yeah.
He's a superstar.
Yeah.
To be fair, had a couple of down years, but that was
his
injuries.
standards.
But his standards, you're correct. But I mean, the quality that you're going to have in this team, which is what Sam Walsh did so well last year, was to help, because he took a lot of load off Cripper's shoulders and he made Cripper into Brownlow medalist. So he's going to have that same treatment in this team, I'd imagine, with these superstars.
Yep.
So, no, I agree with that. I'm going to get a little weird because there's the obvious options. I like it a bit weird. And I just don't know if anybody's going to agree with it, but I think any Geelong fans out there might agree with me. And this is going to be my man, Jed Buse. I'm sticking him in. I'm sure when you put these little magnets together, you didn't think Jed Buse was going to look in. But Jed Buse, in this little back pocket here, is going to do everything you need. What are your concerns around Jed Buse when you look at that? Because I can understand why. Because he's not notable. He's not a notable
That's the
player.
thing. It was a name I didn't expect to see get touched.
Yeah.
But I am interested, to hear arguments for and against.
I can see why Geelong fans love him. He's that hardworking. He'll do a role. He's that big body as well, and just gets the job done. And he's a premiership player now. We weren't going to use that line, but I think
There's quite a few premiership players. I'll tell you why I love him. And he has an underrated quickness to his game that I'm going to be honest with you. He picked up like 2 yards of pace in the last 2 years, and everyone was like, where'd this come from? He locks down players. Like if you look at his record, he has some really good record. Like Charlie Cameron, for example, you'd think that Charlie Cameron would run rings around him. He didn't. In Cyril's later years, and when Buse were coming up, Buse would take Cyril and or do little jobs alongside Corey Enright and stuff like that. So he's a weird one, and it would be a hard one to sell because you don't really know a lot about him. But I think he does. He's one of those like people that doesn't. He does a job for you, and you just don't have to ask questions.
Yep. That's fair. Only reason why I'm happy with it is because I'm going to find it hard to make an argument with some of our back pocket options to go over him. Like we've got Nick Newman, who I could argue like very different players. Nick Newman's more your finesse kind of player. He's great by foot. He'll get the job done. Good intercept mark. But yeah, Jed Buse is different. So I'm happy with it for now. Let's leave it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Buse is in.
And you've sold me with your explanation as well. So I'm happy.
What you got to do is you just got to say it confidently.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, I know you haven't watched much Jed Buse, but he's great.
Yeah.
So if you can
Mate, you got to make everyone else feel like they don't know what they're talking about.
That's what you got to do. You just got to say
that's the trick.
things a lot.
No, I love that.
Huge. All right.
Cool.
Buse is in. It's a win for me.
I'm going Adam Sard at half back. I think he's one of the best halfbacks in the game. Was all Australian last year. Has to be in there. I mean, he's got other Geelong halfbacks covered, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, like, I think where Geelong's strength is, like, was their intercept and their ball skills, but I don't think the halfback is a Geelong matchup to Carlton's, like, in terms of side and speed and pace. Like, do we have Tui? But he plays a bit of wing. He plays a bit of halfback. He's not speedy. I like it. I like somebody breaking the line, so I don't mind side at all. That gets me going. I'm going to go with my man, Tyson Stengel. Now, I know some people will be a bit annoyed because, they're like, no, he's one-hit wonder or whatever like that. But he has an incredible ability to get you a goal out of nowhere, forward pressure. The man kicked, something like 40-plus goals last year. He kicked 4 in the grand final. He was... And it's the thing for me, and this is where Geelong didn't do so well in previous past before, and that's why Tyson Stengel was such a big get for us, was we just had a lot of players that could kick goals, but not goals that were like from nowhere, or like some guy that can just genuinely kick a goal out of his ass. Like Stengel can do that. I think it helps break a game. It really can break the hearts of an opponent. So I like Stengel at forward pocket. I think he ties in, and he's a good link up player as well. He gets that kind of like that possession up here and delivers it in. So big Stengel man.
Yep,
he's also my
I can't
favorite
argue
player.
with that. So. Again, it honestly comes down to positions. So I couldn't argue the back pocket, and I'm not going to argue the forward pocket because Stengel was an All-Australian in the forward pocket last year, and we've got very young small forwards. So I think Stengel stays.
I like that. And as an ex-Richmond man, I'm happy to see him.
That's
doing well.
it.
So we bred him into who he is now. He's on the poster behind you. We're on back there. So Stengel's a good one. I like that.
Yep.
Marcus.
Okay.
It's slowly coming together.
It is.
The team is slowly building. We've got more backs at the moment. We've got 4 sitting there, 3 in the forward line. The midfield and wings is looking a bit bare.
Yep.
What are we thinking?
Well, let's keep creating that midfield, and I'm going to put Sam Walsh in there with Cripps and the Blitz.
I can hear the size coming from my left, so I'm interested to see. But continue your explanation.
There could be size, but I don't see those other players in there just yet. Sam Walsh, one of the best young players, if not one of the best players in the competition. Nearly won the Brownlow a couple of years ago with 30 votes. And, he's one of the, people talk about Nick Dacos and, Will Ashcroft potentially having a Nick Dacos season, but I think everyone forgets how good Sam Walsh was in his first season, which was only like 2 or 3 years ago. And he's already, seen as one of the best players in the game. So crazy to see what his future has in store for him. He's only 22.
It's true.
He's already a superstar of the game, and I think this side without Sam Walsh wouldn't be right.
It's fair. No, it's fair. And you know what? I was really interested. I did a bit of research on Sam Walsh the other day. He has something he has a super high percentage of like Like he ranks like in the top 20 or something of disposals per game, but he also ranks like top 10 efficiency. So like he's not just, when you think of Sam Walsh, you think of a guy that gets the ball, runs all day, just gets a lot of it, but you may not, if you're not a close watcher, you may just be like, that's all he does. Yep. But he actually is efficient. My question isn't necessarily, it's more of a structural thing. I think Sam Walsh absolutely deserves on this side, but I look at Patrick Dangerfield, for example, and I sit there, I go, do you start Dangerfield on the bench? Do you start Walsh on the bench? I think for me, I got to pick one of them. I definitely think they both have to be on the side. It's just how you do it. But I'm happy to leave Walsh there. That's just like super like, that's a tactical thing. That's being very, very like finicky, and we can work through that in the season.
No, you know? we can work that out in the 100%.
Season. But that's the only question I think I have of that, because it's just like, he's a player, and like if you're building this, and it also matters. It depends. Are you building this team for long term? Are you building it for short term? I mean, either way, they're both in the team, I think. But Walsh, I'm happy to run with Walsh. This man he's elite for you guys. And like I said before, he helped Cripps get that brown leg because he was so good. So
yeah, I think his season last year was underrated because Cripps was so good. But Walsh probably had one of his best seasons last year as well.
Yeah.
But Cripps was just so much better. So, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he potentially gets up. Well, actually, when this video goes out, we'll know if Walsh played round 1 or not. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. So.
But yeah, and then I was an argument to picking Dangerfield there. It's like, do you really want Blitzarves, Cripps, and Dangerfield?
Yeah.
It's a very heavy.
Bulky. It's heavy, yeah.
Heavy,
That's
contested midfield. So Walsh probably provides a little bit of
outside run too.
Yeah, and run.
Yeah. Okay.
I like it.
I think I got another one.
Another weird one?
I don't know if it's weird, to be honest with you, but I don't know if it'll be accepted by the wider community. But I've been big on this man for a long time now. So big. And it brings a warm pleasure to my heart. This man's a premiership player. Okay? His name's been run through the dirt for too long. But I think in the ruck, we're going for my man, Reece Stanley.
As soon as you said rub through the dirt, I knew who you meant.
I'm telling you, this man is not as bad as you think he is.
And I look different selections are good.
So I'm going from a position of, I saw us succeed at the highest stage, and I guess I get interested by these weird little things that go on. And one of the big things that Geelong did was obviously they took a tactic. I don't know why everyone's talking about it as if like Melbourne never did this, but this was Melbourne's tactic when they won the grand final, and that was to put Max Gawn behind the play because he's just so tall. And Geelong just did the same thing. Geelong put Stanley behind the play. I think people just think he's just not good for some reason, like because he always had potential, and people just think he's been really solid. He's probably not the best tap ruckman. Put my hand up there, but around the ground he'll give you. Honestly, watch him this year. He'll give you 2 clearances a game, and honestly, I just see it more that I don't see him going in there. I just see him he does his job, especially if you've got Blitzarves in there. Does his job. He'll hang back a kick behind the footy. Blitzarves will come and run around the ground for you.
Don't mind it. I don't mind it.
For me, I think you've made a good argument for Reece Stanley, and I appreciate it.
But you're right.
That's where it's going.
I'm just looking at, you mentioned his brother before, but I'm looking at Big Tommy De Conning, who one of the most athletic ruckmen going around, still very young, hasn't even played 50 games yet. But what he can do around the ground and with his tap work as well is unbelievable. He just needs to work on his consistency throughout a game. But I think Tom De Conning at his best can win an unbelievable hit out, can go forward, kick you 2 or 3 goals, can take a hanger. What big men are taking hangers like him? And I just think with his tap work and his athleticism, it really bodes well with having Blitzarves who loves running, Sam Walsh who loves running, and then you've got Cripps there who we can just get a nice tap down to get that quick ball out. So for me, TDK would suit, I think, this midfield better. I don't know if he's a better ruckman than Reece Stanley, but I think for our midfield, I think TDK needs to be the ruckman.
All right. We were both sticking with our guns here.
Oh, I'm sticking with Stanley. I'm strong on that.
That's what I'm asking. Before I make a choice, I'm making sure that we're definitely sticking to our guns. I like both your points. I think both of them are fantastic, and I do feel like TDK needs to find a way into this side. Whether you guys go with the dual ruck combo and have one start on the pine and have one start up the guts, I think that's where I'm going. Probably only because I haven't seen enough of TDK consistently yet. I'm going to stick with Stanley. But I'm leaving room for TDK to, on the pine, to run in and play that role because I think that he does, like Marcus said, all his points are correct. Like he could be an absolute star. And he's one of the only big men with the athleticism that he has. But with Stanley, you're going to get consistency. And I think that's, for me, I find that important. So I'm going Stanley.
What if I don't pick TDK on the bench?
Well, then you missed out.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
I might just start filling the bench up now. That one is for you, Reese. I've loved you for so much, for so long. That really warms my heart to see Reese get the respect that he deserves.
This is better than the premiership for Reese.
Oh, this is much bigger than the premiership for Reese. He's happy.
Let's go with Sam Doherty as the other halfback. I think these are the two halfbacks in this combined team. And I think at the moment they're picking themselves, Doherty and Sard, on the two halfbacks. All Australian Sam Doherty, what he's been through, missed so much footy and then was able to just play 22 games like he'd been playing, like he hadn't missed any footy and was on the cusp of potentially being All-Australian last year as well. Second in Carlton's BNF. His drive off halfback, his kicking skills, speak about efficiency. He's got one of the best kicks from defence. And then I think that's a good enough reason to have Doc in the team. He's just and provides so much leadership back there as well.
And
can drift into the midfield.
I don't mind it. There's plenty to work with there. Scott, what are we thinking?
I like being cheeky. And I really, really like throwing a spanner in it. And this one I think is going to really maybe piss you off.
I think I know who you're going with. I know you're going.
Just remember, they're all premiership players, all right? So, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if it is. I don't know. Maybe you can say mine. I'm actually picking Gary Rowan.
Oh, no, that is not who I thought.
That is not what I thought. I thought you were going to go Zach Tui because he's ex-Carlton.
No, that would be sure. No, because now it really confuses you if you can pick Mackay in the team or not. I'm picking Rowan. Now, I'm only picking this because this is how I've grown up watching football through the Cats. And mainly the system is two big forwards and then a player, which has really helped in the success, is to have that player that can play tall but can play small. And Rowan, he's so quick. He's really quick. He puts a lot of players off. Now, a lot of people look at his numbers and say, I didn't get enough of the ball or stuff like that. But he's an impact player. He doesn't get a lot of the ball. He gets another one of those players that gets a bad name, but we saw against the Collingwood game in the qualifying. He came up massive. He plays taller than he is. He's quicker than your average player. I think the work he does is a bit underrated. And as a Cats fan who watched them closely, I really like that ability to really mess with the defenders of the other team with a player that is so versatile, can play high and low. But also I wanted to see how you reacted because you got Harry Mackay there.
Jeez, I know he's a much maligned player.
We had this issue with the last one too.
Oh, can I also just mention Gary Rowan, very accurate in front of goal.
He is very accurate. Yeah,
he's a dead eye.
Look, I don't mind Gary Rowan on a half forward flank. I think that's okay because that's not where I was going to put Harry anyway. So. You haven't really stumped me too much in regards to that. It's more just like Gary Rowan just has that reputation about him. It's like, oh, Gary Rowan, people love to hate him.
It's true.
But
it's more his finals reputation, I think.
But I think
he disproved that. He disproved that.
So I think going off last year and the final series that he had, especially that game against Collingwood, I think Rowan stays.
Thank you.
That was unexpected.
I needed that.
Well, I'm just comparing what I've got on my half forwards, and I'm thinking I don't know if I can put an argument to prove that.
No, smart.
Yep. I like it.
Because I'm going with Big H.
Ah, here we go.
Righty,
a quick transition.
Is going into the pocket.
That's fine.
Where Charlie was. For the Richmond one. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are I think we're going a bit heavy. I think we're going tall. But that's fine. I'm happy to look back on it. Like, I love Mackay. I think he's really good. I just don't like him on that side of the field. I love him on this side of the field when he's kicking for goal. But, I mean, I think as long as we get the wings correct and the other forward, I think it works. But we need to make sure the team, now that we know we're going in that tall, I mean, look, we got pressure. That's great. I mean, you bomb it long into that forward line. Good luck. And like, you also can just be like, automatically, Cameron can move up the ground, Kerno can move up the ground, Mackay can move up the ground if he wants. So, it can work. So no, I'm happy with it. I mean, how do you like knock back Mackay? Like, you've got goal scoring all over the place.
And like you said, all three of these blokes can move up the ground. Like, if I'm watching this as a game, I'm picturing Cameron starting here. I'm picturing Cameron almost running up the wing, grabbing it here, kicking it down to probably Harry leading a bit further, getting the ball around here, Charlie staying deep, or you could switch all three of those roles around.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so beautiful about having the three talls. It is heavy, but I think it can work.
Yeah.
And I think we have to make it work.
I think we're going to have to, because I don't want to have to get in between anyone for this. So we'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, with that in mind, to make sure we get this to work, make sure that the dynamics are good, because we are going tall. We're very heavy on the forward line. Get my man Brad Close in, who is going to give us. He's going to kick you 20, 30 goals a game. Not a game, I hope.
That's a lot.
He's going to kick you a couple of seasons, but his pressure, that's really going to help balance out that team. His pressure up forward is elite. Like, I swear he gets a rundown tackle a game. And he's he's highly respected at Geelong, because his link-up play is, like, he's nearly always in a scoring chain. Like, he's just always there. He was going to work all day for you. You can never question his effort. Long sleeve wearer, which is obviously highly respected amongst my decision-making and how I choose my team. So, I think the closer goes in there. That helps that team out a lot, I think, especially if we want to go that tall.
Yep. Yes. I'm not sure if I completely agree with putting him in. Just on his long sleeves.
Yeah.
Just off the cuff.
That's just the argument you're going with.
No, this is the important
side
chat.
note.
This is the important chat.
Because he wears them every single match, even in like WA when it's hot.
Yeah, the only time he doesn't wear it is in pre-season, which
That's weird.
Yeah.
it worries a lot of people, because it's like, is this going to be a thing now?
Yeah.
like,
does he just love wearing long
no,
sleeves?
he
that
just
much?
wears it. He just does it. I think he debuted in Perth against, I think, probably West Coast or Freo in long sleeves. So
Crazy.
that's how you know.
Yeah.
He's a long sleeve wearer.
Loves it. Anyway,
I think I would do
something
that
I've noticed.
though. I reckon I'd do it.
It
at
is-
one point, you just get hot. Like,
You're
not going to get that hot.
You know what? You're going to cool down eventually.
Yeah.
So it is a name that, when you think of Geelong's, like the echelon of stars that you guys have, it's not a name that comes to mind, similar to Buse and even Stanley to an extent. So I find it really interesting that he's in this side, but your arguments for him, the way he balances out the forward line, I think are good. But I am interested to now see what your rebuttal is, because I know you've got one.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not stopping you.
And I think this guy that I'm about to put in is ahead of him. And you speak about long sleeves being respected. This guy pulls them off very well. His name is Zach Fisher. I've got him on my shirt right now. He pretty much has all the attributes that you just described in Brad Close, but the Fish has the X factor where he can bob up, kick 3 or 4 a game. He can run through the midfield. He's a left footer, which is also very respected.
He's also respected.
And I think the Fish just has a lot more like speed. He has a lot more upside. And I think, and I just don't think, I think if I was picking a team and you told me, would I rather have Zach Fisher or Brad Close, I think I'd go Zach Fisher. And on that side of the ground, left footers.
So that's hard. It's gonna be that's a real knife to my chest, because Brad Close is one of my favourite. What I will say about Zach Fisher, sandals and socks wearer, confirmed. So I'm at Black and Gold Cafe, sandals and socks. That's big for me.
Yeah, it's
when I'm looking at a team.
Yeah, he's he's a very entertaining person. He's a funny guy.
That gets me hyped up. Great. Like, I'm sure he's very funny. I'm sure he's great for the locker room. I am going to leave this one to Quinn, though, because I am dead serious about Close and what he brought to Geelong this year. He would have been top 5. He would definitely top 5, top 10 players rated within Geelong. Just so he's the amount of work he puts in up the ground, his running like capacity is insane. So I'm gonna let you choose it.
God.
Choose correct. Yeah, I know. That's the worst part. Sitting in that chair sucks.
This does suck. I have no idea. The sandals and socks things has thrown me. That's thrown me big time.
So Black and Gold Cafe. I don't know what he ordered, but he
it wouldn't have been good.
Black Gold in Richmond.
Black Gold, opposite the London Tavern for those.
That is, yeah. It's a hot spot for AFL players.
I have heard this.
It's very much.
We should film an episode out of the
There's going to be
Black
lines
Gold.
outside that cafe.
So
now.
how many players
This is it.
I've sent, and you know what? There's Wiedering, seeing him there. So there's a lot of Black Gold
weird
in this
fashion
team.
combos going on with Wheats.
No, he's more a straight up and down operator.
I think we need to look after the Black Gold
Jeans and
boys. then.
t-shirt.
Yeah, you're going to look after the Black Gold boys. Wow. I don't know.
Well, who would you rather have in your Richmond team then?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think about. I'd want both, but I can't have both. That's my problem. You can't. I like Fish because of his speed. I know he's so zippy, and I love that about him. But like you said, Scott's that close is just always there, and he's hard to miss with his long sleeves too. He's so recognisable.
And he's a premiership player. Just remember that.
Yeah, he's a premiership player.
Can't be using this.
You have that. I don't know, and I'm breaking hearts no matter which option I go with here. But I think I do like the Fish in that spot.
Ooh.
It's all right. I
I
respect
thought
it.
you were going to... If you chose Brad Closehand, I would have been like, this is the bias. You're
do
too
like it.
biased.
Better see that wouldn't have been bias.
He's a magician,
No,
though.
because you've already got me already once with the heartbreak. I can't remember who it was, but you got me before.
Who did I get you with
I
before?
don't know, but you chose someone else ahead of my player.
I was TD Caverstanley.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
you
Ruckman.
did.
Yeah.
My argument for that was
Correctly.
yeah, I did that. That
Correctly
was
chosen.
correct. This one here, I think there was no wrong answer. I think that for me, they were both right
I
answers.
think Brad Close would be very stiff not to be in it. But I think in that spot...
You want a bit of magic. I can accept
Yeah.
it.
It was the left-hand side that got me over the
Yeah.
line. Just that side. Like you said with Harry, like if I was doing this to him, I would have Harry and Stengel swap.
Yeah.
Because I don't like Harry this side of the ground. He can't kick a drop punt that well.
It's true.
And he
Kick a
can
good-
snap.
He can cook a good banana.
Yeah, which is from this side of the ground.
Yeah.
Huh? But like a check side.
Oh, check side, not too bad. But if he's like 45,
Difficult
50
one against
metres
Richmond
out, he's
last
not
year.
doing that. Yeah, he's not doing that from out here. We're here, we can do whatever. So, yeah, I'm going Fish with this one. So,
The
Fish is in.
But the-
Slippery.
but I would like to see the close
He's a sandal socks.
find his way back into the team. Yeah, I'm
Black Gold Cafe.
gonna put the Fish like this so we know that he wears sandals and socks.
Okay, so that's. I can't. To be fair, I don't have any more other confirmation about anybody else who sandals and socks. But
That's enough.
what shoes do you reckon Reece Stanley wears? You reckon he's just
I reckon he's just Burks. I reckon.
Yeah, I think
no
he is
socks.
too. Yeah,
Burks.
yeah. I reckon he's a real barefoot operator around the
Yeah.
house.
He would be a
it's good
barefoot
to know.
operator.
I think just around the house.
Alrighty, so enough of the footwear conversation. We can bring it back, but we need to finish his team. So, Marcus, the wings are looking bare. Do you have a wingman? Do you have a back to finish the back line? What are you thinking?
Yes, I think I'm going to go wingman. I'm going to go Blake Acres as a pure wingman. That one of the rare players in the AFL that purely plays on the wing and is an actual wingman. So he fills that void there. I think a great two-way runner, big body, uses the ball well. He's my wingman.
Nice. I just haven't seen enough of him. I only remember him as St Kilda Blake Acres. So he did
was
have a good season last year.
Career best at Freo last year.
Career best, yeah. He did do a good job, and they were an attacking team. So no, it's okay. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm looking at the team and I'll go, yeah, I'm happy with that. I can live with that. Yep, Acres, stick him in. If you believe, I'll trust you. If you
Thank
believe
you.
he's a true wingman,
He will do well on that wing for us.
you're a good one.
I know.
The confidence has gotten me over the line
Yeah.
with this as well. So I'm glad I didn't have to get involved with this decision. But we have another decision to make.
Yeah, we do.
Another two, really. We've got 2 spots
Me
left.
too. And
Plus a
basically,
bench.
the answer, what's happening here is I've got to choose which position I want to debate because I know I will make a debate. But I think I'm going to get, I'm not getting freaky because it's not that freaky. I'm going to go into the defense. I like what we got here. We got so much attacking power that I think I'm going to be able to pick my man Sam DeConning. Put him in there.
Yep.
Look, we've got so much attack. We've got pretty much here we got, sorry, I'll use words. Stewart, Doherty's side and Buse to an extent can help run it out of the back line, or at least create chains of handballs and whatever. And we can get it out to Sard who can run, or we can get it out to Doherty who can run and hit a target going forward. So I think if we get Sam De Koning, Wiedering in there, I mean, look, it's another intercepting option for us, which maybe outside of Stewie and Wiedering, we probably lack a little in terms of height. Doherty can do a job, but I think Sam De Koning, I think he'd be a nice piece, another tall, like really get a little bit extra height into our backline.
Yeah, no arguments from me. I think we saw how good he was last year, and probably could have been in that All-Australian squad last year, didn't he?
Jeez,
like he was
man,
that good.
Second year.
Yeah.
Third year, sorry. But
when we played last year in round 18, he tore up Harry Mackay, didn't he, that night?
Yeah.
I think he kept him goalless.
Yeah,
So
he just doesn't care. Like,
Yeah.
he's like literally like, he's ice cold. Like, he just doesn't,
Yeah.
he doesn't show emotion. He just sits there and like, the only time I saw him show any type of emotion or like you could see that something broke him a little bit was his first kick in the Sydney game where he kicked out in the full. And it was like, okay, this guy actually has nerves. And then, but even then he came back and he just had just a great day. So went forward and kicked a snag. So no, I'm happy with that. Thank you for that.
Nah, I love
Let's
De
keep him in.
Koning there
I'm
too.
happy with that.
So.
And I was going to, I don't think I can argue the players in my positions for that. So.
Yeah. This is good
Beautiful.
because I'm prepared to go to war here. So you,
Okay.
We have one spot left
Last wing spot.
in the 18, but we can start picking bench players. You could have the first player picked could have been a bench player.
I'm happy to.
So,
I'm happy to
Happy to
go with the
finalise
18.
it.
Go with the 18.
All right.
Adam Chera on the other wing can play. Play predominantly through the middle, but can play on the wing just due to his versatility, his athleticism. He's quick, uses the ball really well. I think he's probably the best option on that wing spot that we've behind Blake Acres that we've got on the team, and we'll probably just rotate with the blitz through there and whoever else on the bench too.
interesting. All right. This is another one for you.
Oh no.
I know who you're going to say. I just saw his
There's
name.
a lot of good players. There's actually too many good Geelong players left on this thing. Like Hawkins, how are you not in the team? And he might not make it.
All-Australian captain.
I know, right? Stiff. But I just want to beat Isaac Smith on top instead of Chow. I like Chow, don't get me wrong. But we're talking about this man can play that true wing role. He's a game winner. He's a game winner. Like multiple times for Geelong. He's come through in the clutch and he kicked a game-winning goal against Brisbane in Geelong. He kicked those. He had an amazing grand final. Yeah, I don't know how to not to argue this man. He's just like a left footer as well. I think. Yeah, he is.
He is. Yeah.
This hasn't been the most convincing sell, but
So he's swapping wings.
what do you mean?
With your left footer, would you have him?
Nah, that's
we're
fine.
going-
He's fine. He's just going to link up the
you're
chain.
going
He
that
can
way.
do both. I don't know.
Doesn't matter
Just
too
saying
much.
about Smith, he's a game winner, and for me, I like him more than Chera on the wing because I think it's a bit more of a natural fit.
I'm having to intervene again.
Yeah.
And my decision is being based purely on the fact that I love wingmen that can seriously impact the scoreboard. And for me, Isaac Smith does that more than Chera. So for me, I'm taking Smith. Also because I was at the grand final and watched him do what he
Dude,
did
he was
live.
great.
And that's the last performance. That's the last best on ground performance I've seen live. So,
That's true.
so for me, it's still fresh in my mind.
He's
So
a
yeah.
four-timer as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Four-time premiership player.
Yeah.
Four-time
So he's
premiership
just
player,
got
two-time norm. So
Yeah, so he's got experience. He's like a proven star. Not that Chera's not a gun, but I just think for scoreboard impacts, I want Isaac. Smith.
He's just not as good.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just not good enough.
All right. So which four current players are we putting on the bench now?
Okay, well, I think like straight up, it's like if we're not putting Dangerfield on the bloody field, we're putting him out on the bench, aren't we? So,
I want to see you debate
Who would have
this.
thought this like
dude,
3 or
that's
4 years ago that
Yeah, I
Dangerfield
know.
wouldn't be in this best team?
like that's yeah. I mean, like we're just like comparing apples with apples, really. Like it's just like Walsh or Dangerfield who starts doesn't really matter to me. Like, AFL is so fluid now. So actually, you know, as much as I'd love to see Dangerfield in there, I prefer to have somebody like Blixers in there and we debate about who comes in and Walsh or Dangerfield. Like, he's a gun. He's another game winner. He's got X factor. If you manage him right and make sure he's fit like Geelong did last year, you will reap the rewards having this man in your team. What he did against Brisbane in the finals, where he didn't in the grand final, like could have easily, if Isaac Smith kicked one less goal, Dangerfield wins that Norm Smith. So, and he can just like drag a team. He actually had years there where he just had to do too much for Geelong, and he was just when he wants to do something, he can just do it on the footy field. So, I mean, yeah, you complain about his kicking a little bit if you want or stuff like that, but I think a lot of people do that just because they're annoyed that he doesn't play for them. So,
which is fair.
It's fair. He's a genuine gun. So, yeah, I mean, I think he put Dangerfield. He's probably the
Brownlow medalist,
the best player left on the board. So,
no arguments there. It'd be silly to argue that, but I'm going to put Georgie Hewitt on the other bench.
Loves
as
the
well.
bench.
Yeah, I think he has to be in there. Mr. Consistent, never turns the ball over. Great defensive player as well in the midfield, and really would support these players very well. So I think Georgie has to be in it.
Yeah, I think we can go the extra midfielder too because of how much forward strength we have. It's getting tough because there's players on this board I'd really.
Well, I'm looking at in front of me. I've got Mitch Duncan, Tom Hawkins, and Cam Guthrie all not in the side.
I know.
It's crazy.
And that's tough.
That is tough. But I just don't think with the forward line that we got, I'm accepting that Tom Hawkins doesn't make this team. Like, it's sad, and I love Tom Hawkins, but we'll just make the excuse. He comes into the season injured, and, you know, Kerno has a lot more footy ahead of him, and they're all kicking bags of goals, and I think we're just going with a dynamic forward line. So I'm fine to live with that, you know, as sad as it is. As much as I'd like to just plonk him in there and he'll, you know, win the ruck hit-outs every time and kick you a bag of goals. But, you know, how do you argue? So I'm accepting that. All right, I'm going to do us a solid here because we need to make sure we have enough versatility in this bench for us. And so I think we're going to put Jack Henry in there.
Interesting.
I mean, he's going to be a 300-game Geelong player. He's going to be a Geelong Hall of Famer. He's another one of those players, just stick him in, he'll do a job for you. Good utility. Does it often for Geelong, goes forward. Like if Tom Hawkins doesn't play in round one, Jack Henry was in line to take that spot. But he's obviously injured now. And he did it against Richmond. I'm sorry, but he went forward and he kicked the winning goal. Can take a really good mark, but he does his best work in defence. And I think, you know, we need some cover if we get an injury in defence. And I think we can. The forwards and mids, they can always interchange, so that's okay. Like, let's say if one of our forwards goes down, we can stick Dangerfield there if we really want to, or stuff like that. So I like the idea of getting Jack Henry in there, and so he can play a good, strong intercepting role for us.
Yep, that surprised me a little bit.
It's surprising, but I do have my favourites.
There was a few of those in your side, but I like it.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. So I think I'll accept it in there.
I'm going to get killed for not fighting for some of these players.
But
some of the fights you have had compared to some of the ones you could have had. Yeah.
But last player on the bench is Jack Silvani. Similar reasons to Jack Henry, but I think this man can just, wherever you need him, he's just going to play, and he's going to play well there. Reece Stanley goes down, Jack Silvani's going straight in there. If Jerry McCameron goes down, Jack Silvani will go there. Connie goes down, Silvani goes there. He's your most versatile player you can ask for, and will work as hard as anyone in the team. So, and yeah, when this team is playing in a grand final, Jack Silvani is one of the players that you would love to have in the trenches with you.
Yeah, when this team is playing in the grand final, Jack Silvani won't be in the team. I'm putting him in there now. I accept everything you said, but I feel like we just picked that with Jack Henry. I think we can do that. We can put Henry up forward here. And I think it is an absolute crying shame if we chose Silvani over Cam Guthrie. I mean, this man is a best and fairest in a grand final winning year. And you cannot have
We're just
Guthrie.
talking about that we've had a lot of midfielders running through.
It's true. But I mean, let's say, for example, Stanley goes down, Blixovs, he just takes it. That's fine. Pop the midfielder. Dangerfield's there, he can go forward.
Jeez.
I like it all.
You got Hewitt in there already as well.
I know, I should have just argued Hewitt.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it makes it tough, but I just think it's a dead shame to not put Guthrie in that team.
I think it's, and also just as big of a shame not to have either of these players, because I do agree with Marcus. I think Silvani is one of those heart and soul type players that might not necessarily get the credit. He probably doesn't get the credit he deserves outside of Carlton. But then Guthrie's Guthrie, and we just know what you're going to get from him week in, week out. Oh, God.
We'll prepare you for this. At this point, if you choose Silvani, you'll be known the guy that chose Silvani over Guthrie. And I will clip that up.
Oh, come on.
That's good argument.
Well, Cam Guthrie, no problem.
No. I'll try not.
It's a fair argument, and I think Cam Guthrie has to be in this team.
He's blackmailed me here, but yeah, I think if we're comparing Guthrie to Silvani, and I had to pick one right now to join Richmond's list, I'm probably picking Cam Guthrie.
Right, so Guthrie can be the Medi sub.
The Medi sub, yeah.
The Medi sub.
Now we'll put the vest on Sauce.
No, I think Brian Myers will be the Medi sub. Thank you very much.
No, I'll take Silvani over Myers. But
well, is it Premiership player Silvani or is it Premiership player Brian Myers? So.
Touche, mate. Touche.
No, I appreciate it. I do appreciate you, Mr. Silvani, but Cam Guthrie's Cam Guthrie.
That's fair.
Well,
that is fair. If there's any player that you wouldn't accept too many rebuttals like that, but I think Cam Guthrie has to be in there.
I like Duncan as well. Duncan, I'm sad couldn't find a spot, but I don't know who I would swap him with.
Well, let's look at these: Tom Hawkins, Mitch Duncan.
I know. I feel like I failed.
Zach
Tui.
I know.
Atkins. Like it's Menegola.
The player that I actually want the most in this team, like that we missed out, is Atkins. Like,
talk about underrated.
Yeah, that's a man I'd love in that time at that team. But I mean, that's such a good midfield, and yeah, like that's an insane midfield.
This team, would you say nearly wins 3 in a row?
Yeah, easy. It'd be like the current Geelong squad. It's going to be just grand final, win, grand final, win, grand final, win. And you think of the midfield, think of the big names in here. Paddy Cripps, you got Dangerfield, you got Guthrie, you got Reece, Stanley. They're all kind of the similar type.
There's only one Carlton name then.
S-tier elite midfield players. So I think I'm very happy with it.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I love this side.
It's hard to get in a team or to combine a team when you're doing it with the premiers. So I think
that is tough.
I think it shows the quality that Carlton have as well. So I'm happy with this team. There's been some unlucky players, but
I'll also just say that I think it's a solid effort, unless my counting is off, that at 18 there's 9 and 9. We've got a dead even split. Geelong win from the bench, but if we're taking the bench out of it, it's an even split with players, which I think is a pretty solid effort from the two of you.
I think that's a healthy debate.
That's a healthy debate.
That's a very healthy debate.
Or
but
maybe
the Cats get over the
line. maybe a bit, need to be a bit stronger and harder in his decisions.
Trying to level things up.
I was counting as I was going.
No, maybe that team.
That's been a fantastic combined 22. It's been good. The debates have been solid. Arguments for each team. I've been blackmailed at certain points.
Yeah. Fairly too.
Bag under the table.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'll be collecting that after we finish. But that is it. Well done, boys. Very well done indeed.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Well done.
Shake of the hands.